So a big test for the world number 100, Karumi NARA.
First set, Miss NARA to serve. Ready? Play.
One of the strengths of NARA's game is her speed around the court, but HALEP can certainly match her in that area. Good, solid first point for NARA.
Push! Out! 30 left.
At 5'1", 1m55. I can't think of a smaller player on the tour, certainly not in the world's top 100.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge because NARA doesn't really have that big shot, that big weapon. And at her height, she doesn't pack a big punch on the serve. She just basically gets it in. So over the course of this match, she'll have to try to figure out how to give her game a little more weight. Maybe come in a little bit more, try to change the pace a little bit.
Out! 40-15.
Just finding her grass court legs right now, Simona Halep.
NARA tried to throw in a little bit of a change up, get a little more spin, a little more air under her forehands, but HALEP able to step in, dictate with direction. Beautifully struck.
Use.
Confidence out here is going to be tough for NARA because she hasn't won a single main draw match.
0 for 8 this year.
That's rough. But I think that's a little deceptive because she's actually done an awful lot of winning on the lower circuits.
So often when you don't have the confidence, you haven't had a lot of matches under your belt, it helps to go down to the ITF level, play some of those events, get a little more confidence.
That chap there, he's broken the white rule in the player box.
Use. Advantage, Miss HALEP.
At that point, it's clear NARA not as comfortable in the midcourt area. She isn't looking to come in, didn't get up to that backhand, and just floated it long.
Let for service.
This opponent, all the media day, the crazy weekend before Wimbledon, she said, I know my opponent is very fast and playing super flat. So there was no sense of any kind of complacency about Simona coming out here on this centre court.
And HALEP would have known exactly what to expect, and she got here early enough to prepare, even though she didn't get any matches on the grass beforehand. She's been practicing, playing, and you can tell she's pretty confident in these early stages with her movement. Going to be key for HALEP throughout this match.
Miss HALEP to serve.
Fortunately for HALEP in this match, she's going to get a lot of the same balls. She's not going to get NARA mixing it up, hitting it low, hitting it high very often. It's going to be pretty straightforward.
Oh. So quick.
And the anticipation from HALEP.
30 love.
Hit the previous shot, came right out of it. Anticipating where that ball was going to go. Made it look easy.
Love. Let's for service.
That's just such a clutch point from HALEP.
Leads 2 games to
not panicking when under duress, turning things around.
Yeah, certainly no sense of complacency out here for Simona. I think, you know, a lot of eyes on her and sort of queries after she won that French Open. You know, how would she approach Wimbledon? Would there be a sort of, you know, a lapse, a relaxation?
We certainly don't see that in her game right now, and I think this is just a perfect matchup for her so far. It's not a player that's going to really push her and trouble her. It's going to be all about HALEP staying focused.
Picking up from where she left off on the Philippe Chatrier a few weekends ago. Pandemonium really in Romania in terms of her profile and the response back home. You've got the feeling that every single person, that the time stopped during that French Open final against Sloane Stephens.
(15-30).
First match for the world #1 and a member of a new club, the Grand Slam club for Simona Halep, since she won in Paris, and those emotional scenes a month ago where she beat Sloane Stephens from a set and 2-love down to really gain redemption from losing the final the year before. She's made a bright start here. NARA, but Halep with the early break.
Miss Halep leads 2-1 first set.
Chandra, it's lovely to have you for the first time in our centre court commentary box, but as a former world #6, I think you've danced on this turf on many occasions, haven't you, with that brutal forehand that used to blitz past me.
Well, I have, but it's so wonderful to be here in the booth with you. A little bit of a different stage, but certainly exciting, starting this year's championship with the #1 player in the world. And you know, with Halep, she's just been playing such confident tennis, and it's been interesting to watch her sort of work her way through these early stages of this match. Her first match on grass, first match after winning the French Open, an emotional win. Had 3 opportunities before that, could not clinch the title. And it's just been a story of perseverance as we look at her coach, Darren Cahill, who's helped her through some tough moments on court. And that's been, I think, the most impressive part about Halep, the way she's kept at it.
Let first service. Let second service.
And that is an excellent play from NARA. She has to take a few more chances like that, push her way into the net when she can. Beautiful feel.
15-all.
The Monday after her triumph in Paris, went back to Bucharest, and there was a big reception for Simona and Darren at the National Stadium. 20,000 fans turned up to see her. It was a really big deal. And she is the #1 sports star in the country, I think. And what I was hearing, looking at social media, it's not just her achievements, it's the type of personality that she puts across. Very relaxed, smiley, vulnerable at times. She has had 10 days off. She said she just needed to relax. I think the first time she'd relaxed in years before picking up a tennis racket. Came here about 8 days ago. And I was hearing that she was hitting with Leighton Hewitt.
She did. I saw that.
Oh, my goodness.
And all of a sudden, NARA completely turning things around here.
15-14.
From 2-love down, now with points to break back. Get this match on serve.
That was a great coverage from possibly the smallest player in the world's top 100.
30.
That's exactly where she's ranked. She's the Japanese #2 behind Naomi Osaka. Trying to, well, if not emulate, trying to follow in the footsteps of Kimiko Date Krum, great tennis player in the day, and of course more recently Ai Sugiyama. And NARA punching well above her weight. And it's a break back rather against the run of play. It was such a fast start for HALEP.
2-game all, first set.
Well, this could be interesting, Chandler. They played once before 4 years ago. It was very one-sided, 2-2 for HALEP on the hard courts of Indian Wells in the Californian desert. Virginia Rizici, who won the French Open 40 years ago. How often does that happen? Sort of tennis history and symmetry.
Virginia Rizici, she's been part of HALEP's management team, so that has to have helped HALEP just over the years in terms of understanding what it took to win a Grand Slam title.
Never ages, does she?
The same, looks exactly the same. But one of the keys for NARA and turning this match around, that last point notwithstanding, it's been a little more aggressive play from her. She's been willing to take balls in the middle of the court and move in. She stays so low to the ground. She gets behind the volley nicely. It's a play she can continue as this match goes on. Those are the misses that NARA can't afford. Last two shots just beyond the baseline, basic rally balls, completely letting HALEP off the hook.
Yes, just one chap there who didn't get the memo about the all-white rule in the player box.
15-14.
That takes some organisation, doesn't it? To get that many passes. And
I didn't know they gave that many passes to one player.
I think she said yours. Once again, having to fend off break points. In the opening game of the match.
Nice get from NARA, and HALEP much prefers to hit cross court. They're trying to take that backhand up the line over the high part of the net, just pulling down on it.
Ms. HALEP is changing the call on the left far sideline. The ball was called out. Advantage, Ms.
The wonderful invention of Hawkeye.
2 challenges remaining.
Just to remind you, if you haven't watched tennis for a while, each player gets 3 incorrect challenges a set. And if it goes to a breaker, they give you an extra one.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, we like that. Beautifully done.
It wasn't a bad play from NARA, trying to put the ball in the middle of the court, not give HALEP an angle. But HALEP managing to hit that inside out just a little sharper, set up the finishing shot for her. Another opportunity for HALEP. 2018, she leads the tour in return games won. Only player to win over 50% of her return games.
Shana, you can come back to the centre court anytime when you produce such golden information.
Well, she's misfired a few times though here in these early stages. HALEP has. Maybe
this is not going to wreck her stats.
Sign.
Yeah, it's not going to wreck her stats, is it? You come with game.
Advantage, Ms. HALEP.
No sense of complacency out here from HALEP. All the top players in both draws was a little anxious in these opening rounds.
Well, these early rounds are always tricky because nobody's really played a ton of matches, and especially for the grass court coming here to Wimbledon, it's been tough for anybody to get a whole lot of matches on grass, and HALEP hasn't had any She can't relax in these stages. That's nicely done. And if you also consider Sam Halep's opponent in that French Open final,
Advantage, Miss
Sloane
Halep.
Stephens went out in the first round yesterday. Everybody would have been aware of that. The number 4 seed. She didn't have any matches either, so it makes players focus a little more.
Gets it on a 5th break point of the game, and Halep ahead once more in what has been a really entertaining opening 5 games.
Miss Halep leads 3-2 first sets.
It was quite interesting after that, the French Open. She said a couple of things. Her new goal is to win an Olympic medal. And Darren congratulated her after the French Open on all the work she's done, particularly on her attitude. But then he said those words, back to work. Nothing's changed.
I mean, isn't that what a coach is supposed to say?
That's what an Aussie coach says. A straight talking chap from Adelaide. And he's an interesting guy. He actually, I didn't realise this, he coached Leighton Hewitt to be the world #1, the youngest ever of all time.
That's right. That's a good point.
And he coached Leighton Hewitt at that time to be the oldest ever
Ladies and
#1. Of course,
gentlemen,
Federer's
know that
gone on
either.
now. I didn't know that until I looked it up
Quickly,
about an hour ago.
Time. Love 15.
Well, we knew she was quick, and so did Halep.
15 all.
Beautiful.
Going to be a key shot for Halep if she has the confidence to change direction, to go up the line, get NARA moving.
Let's first service.
These two both 26 years of age. Halep just a few months older than Karumi.
It certainly can't be understated that NARA is going for her first win on the WTA Tour in the main draw this year. And this is a big moment for her, and she's managing so far, managing the pressure.
So well worked.
That is very smart point from Halep, being just a little more aggressive, getting more depth on her ground strokes, and immediately recognizing NARA going to the one hand. Don't often see Halep at the net, but does well above the shoulders there.
Well, from the Philippe Chatrier court of Paris to the centre court at Wimbledon, the routine is the same for the world number one.
Miss Halep leads 4-2 first sets.
And Halep just got a little better direction on that serve, able to get NARA stretched out.
But reading between the lines, Chanda, I just get the impression that you feel NARA really doesn't have, with her year so far, doesn't really have the right to be going toe-to-toe here.
It's going to be a tough ask for her today, but that's why we throw the balls up. Halep missed that volley, but it was the right play, the right place for her to be. Those are the types of moves that will pay dividends if she's able to get through this match, pay dividends as the tournament goes on. It's interesting, to look at Halep trying to move forward and put more pressure on NARA. Sam, you were more of an aggressive player. You played at the net, serving and volleying. I didn't. But I always felt like if you made those moves early in the tournament, in matches like this one, you would feel better against the better players. Get that confidence going.
Very much in the groove now. Chanda, you may not have noticed, but had to come forward because I had nothing from the back. Nothing
I wouldn't say nothing.
And
I would not go that far.
And those great players in the later rounds had nothing to fear, promise you. Nothing and nothing.
You are underestimating what you brought to the table.
Smoke and mirrors.
And I think one of the points is that, it's so tough to do things that you're uncomfortable doing under pressure. You can work on it in practice. You can know the right moves to make. But when it comes down to wanting a point, it's difficult to take those risks. Halep gets another break opportunity.
Just starting to look uphill for NARA, and that isn't the slight slope on the centre court either.
Yes.
Those are the shots that you would expect Halep to start making as she gets more and more comfortable, as she starts to settle in.
Advantage, Miss Halep.
Well, Karumi Nara having to hit an awful lot more serves out here than Simona Halep. That weary and long game for her. Oh, the world number one in a stingy mood out here this afternoon, and has worked herself into a 5-2 lead in this opening set.
New balls, please. It's Halep leads 5-2 first set.
Chanda, she might not have huge weapons, Simona Halep, but we are just in awe of just the way she moves on the court. And just take us through this.
Well, weapons don't necessarily have to be one shot, but for Halep, the movement is definitely a weapon. She's so quick. Her legs are so strong. She stays low to the ground, and her eyes continuing to stare forward, tracking the ball, and the legs getting out to shots. She moves at an angle, cuts the ball off so often, and that's part of what makes her so difficult to play against and to beat. Difficult to hit through her.
You'll notice from that VT is that, and it just hit me how still her head is.
I mean, she's
wherever she is on the court.
She's tracking the ball immediately off of her opponent's racket, and that's one of the keys to being quick as well.
It's been a workmanlike 36 minutes for the world number one. Serving here with new balls to close out this first set.
In the last few games, we've seen just a few more misses from Nara, and that has made life much more difficult for her. Not able to keep tension, scoreboard pressure in this match. And Halep has been serving very smartly.
Golf is looking enormous now, isn't it?
It is.
From Nara, who can't win a match on tour, to someone who's... She's been so difficult to beat. Only 6 losses for her this season against 35 wins. A couple of titles in there. Started the year off very well in Shenzhen. 2 set points for the Romanian.
Levels, full service.
That will do very nicely. The world number one, Simona Halep, takes the opening set by 6 games to 2.
6 games to 2.
Lovely Tuesday afternoon, and maybe the world number one just having to work a little harder than that she might have thought out here, but a decent set shot.
Yeah, pretty good numbers for Halep. 71% of first serves in, and winning high percentage of points off of her first serve. And the break point conversion, she's had a lot of opportunities, Halep, and she's converted just enough of them. And even coming in very successfully in some critical moments, that has helped. And many more winners for Halep, which we don't often see. But many more winners than what Nara has been able to produce in this match. And it's Halep who's just able to have her way in these points. Not really troubled by the Japanese woman. Darren
Cahill, very good player in career, his own semi-finalist at the US Open. don't know what happened to him at Wimbledon. Never beyond the second round. You'd expect an Aussie to be charging into the net and doing rather well. But former Davis Cup player, and I think everyone believes absolutely instrumental in Simona's success. 3 years they've been working together. Walked away actually just after March last year, and that was the shock therapy I think she needed, shock coaching, and that came back, and well, had so much success now.
Second set, Miss NARA to serve.
NARA hasn't done as good a job on her first serve percentage, so this will be time to make some corrections. Good start to this service game, serving at just under 60%, so needs to raise that number a bit. She did everything right, NARA did, except execute on the volley. Put herself in perfect position.
So much pressure on her. What number would you suggest for her first serve percentage?
Well, it needs to be 75 to 80% in this match. She's not hitting winners. She's not hitting aces. Service games NARA has, and that's tiring, so it's been tougher for her to keep that rhythm on the serve, and HALEP now able to take advantage.
She's going along very nicely. She leads now by a set and a break.
First game, second set.
And this has just been the perfect match thus far for HALEP. She struggled just a little bit after getting up break of serve early in the first set. Allowed her to get a little more focused, to hit a few more balls, and she looks like she's in a real rhythm right now. Returning a bit better.
Who needs to play a warm-up tournament?
No one, if you're playing like Simona HALEP.
You were very good at winning the warm-up tournament, weren't you, Chanda? A couple of titles down at Eastbourne.
Yes, didn't always translate to here. I would have preferred
I know, I did have a little,
to translate to Wimbledon.
I had a sneaky look at your record.
Thank you for that.
Playing conditions a lot easier today than they were yesterday when Serena Williams was out on the centre court. There was so much wind swirling around.
It was breezy.
And actually, it was blowing a gale this morning. It seems to have dropped. I must say, I didn't even bother to do my hair today. I thought there was 0 point of making the effort.
I thought your hair looked well done. Okay, my bad.
I've gone for the windswept look.
That's in now.
For once, I'm on trend. It's never happened before.
You're trending up.
I couldn't trend down any further.
Definitely looks like HALEP has gotten into rhythm on the ground strokes as well. Just the legs that she's getting into the shot, staying behind the low ground strokes from NARA, giving HALEP absolutely no problems thus far.
Missing, but only by the slimmest of margins. That's a very good sign.
And HALEP was taking that backhand so early, taking time away from NARA. That's going to be an excellent play. Just needs a little more spin.
It's impressive, isn't she? She's right up on her baseline. How big is the transition from clay to grass for a tennis player?
It's a pretty big transition. Players now have a little bit more time. They have that extra week that they didn't have before.
Left for service.
See some players able to play 2 or 3 events before Wimbledon, if they so choose. So that has been a tremendous help. First double fault of the match for HALEP, followed up with her first ace.
Miss HALEP. Game, Miss HALEP.
An inadvertent in-off there. Why not? I can tell you that Aurelia is absolutely unscathed.
Miss HALEP leads 2 games to love, second set.
We know how polite Japanese tennis players are, and Karumi would have been mortified. 6 games in a row now. Simona Halep, the Japanese number 2. Yes, she might sort of blow out her cheeks, because this is hard going, and that's even when you haven't upset the umpire.
NARA, she showed some nice feel around the net, forcing the error from HALEP there. One of the things for NARA that seemed to be successful was coming in. I haven't seen that quite as much from her last 6-7 games or so.
Third C15.
I think that's one of the challenges of playing against a player like HALEP, number 1 in the world, in a rhythm, confident. You know, it takes so much mental focus and effort to make these plays, but you have to keep it up over the course of a match.
30 all.
Now, I know HALEP hits the ball pretty deep, but she doesn't hit this hard to knock the racket out of an opponent's hand, does she?
Well, she must have amped up her ground strokes. Nara's all over the place out here. The ball's here going over to the umpire's chair. The racket's flying off into the first row. And she might be down a double break here if she's not careful. 30 all. Japan are not having a good couple of days.
I'm going to assume you're referring to World Cup.
On the right baseline.
Or some other reference.
Yes, do you follow the football?
I don't.
No
I'm just
idea.
guessing that's what you're referring to. Because Nishikori did win today, so
all is well. Well, Chanda, you might notice in about an hour's time
2 challenges remaining.
that this country has its attention diverted somewhat. There's a small game that's happening. You'll get to know when the big games are on.
I feel very unintelligent right now.
Well, there's a great willingness for Nara on this centre court to pick up a few more games, and she's got another one. But down a break still in the second set.
Miss HALEP leads 2-1 second set, and by 1 set to love.
Chanda, I must say, when I visit your country, I haven't been to your town, Lafayette, Louisiana, but I feel just as lost watching the baseball and the
football,
yes, American football. Yeah. Karim, you would be able to fill me in on the baseball. They love it in Japan. Yes, I'd sort of, don't worry about it too much.
Okay, I won't feel so bad. Thank you.
You're fine. It's not essential. It's interesting. Japanese players on the tour. You're on the tour with Ai Sugiyama, who is a wonderful character, former top 10 player. I remember playing at the same time as Kimiko Date Krum.
And me as well. I was out there.
Oh, you're that old, are you?
I'm that old.
That old. But tremendously polite and just wonderful tennis players.
Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seats quickly. Thank you.
Floella Benjamin, who I think until recently was Vice-Chancellor of Exeter University. And I mention that because that's where I went to school.
Oh, I didn't know you were...
Extraordinary woman. Went to an old alumni thing in London, and she was speaking.
Love is seen.
NARA being just a little more aggressive here.
Love 30.
Trying to get another opportunity to get back on serve. In the first set, NARA got down 2-love. Was able to break back,
15-30.
get back on serve at 2-all, trying to do the same thing here.
It's so important that she broke that run of 6 games against her.
It's an excellent shot from NARA, and it wasn't just the placement on that backhand, but she was also looking to move forward, putting that additional pressure on HALEP. Gets rewarded with 2 break point opportunities.
And the first chance she's had since early on in that opening set.
So tough when she gets into a dictating position in points.
30-40.
Has so much margin. Very rare that she misses those closing shot opportunities.
And what's extraordinary these days, hits far more winners off her forehand side than her backhand.
That's a miss that NARA cannot afford. Had that ball on her racket, doesn't even make HALEP play.
Working so hard.
It's so difficult for NARA to counter because HALEP used the forehand to get a little bit of an angle, putting NARA out wide on her forehand side. This shot here is what did most of the damage.
Just get the feeling HALEP's so conscious of not having a post-Paris letdown.
Game, Miss HALEP. Miss HALEP leads 3-1, second set.
It hasn't been often that a player has been able to win the French Open and Wimbledon back-to-back. HALEP certainly a ways away from that, but she doesn't want to go out in the first round as the #1 seed after playing some of her best tennis in Paris.
15 love.
And what would also be a boost for HALEP is the fact that she has done well here before. She has had success on the grass courts. Semi-final, a couple of quarterfinals. I did speak about NARA getting more first serves in, but it has been difficult even when she has gotten that first serve in. She's barely winning 50% of those points. That has been a struggle for her all day. Construction from NARA, defending well in the middle stages of this point. Getting HALEP moving. That's the key.
An awful lot of heart and spirit out here is the Japanese #2, but still behind a break in this second set.
Miss HALEP leads 3-2, second set, and by 1 set to love.
Now, Chanda, I know that you are staying not too far away from here, but this is your footballing education right here. That is Wembley Stadium. That is.
I have been there once.
Oh,
I have. It was for a concert, though.
Oh, that's fine. They have many fine concerts there.
It wasn't for a football game. Where we are looks so much better.
Oh. Do they realise they are they going to give us a little wave? Gearing up for the England game, and just under an hour.
Time.
They're saying, "Ooh, do we stay for the tennis? Where can we watch the football?"
This is one of the benefits of having the same ball pretty much coming at HALEP throughout this match. And she is timing it beautifully, taking that backhand on the rise.
A very difficult early evening shadow now coming across the centre court. And Nara having to track the ball out of the shade into the light. It's the worst scenario.
Another challenge added to Nara's plate in this match.
Let's just pile it on her.
That ball right off the line. Saw a little bit of chalk.
Which did you find more difficult? The ball coming out of the shade into the light, or the light into the shade?
Out of the shade.
Yeah, I think that's pretty universal, unanimous on the tour.
Certainly has to be seeing the finish line somewhat, but she has to maintain her focus. Can't afford to let up here. Nara has been a great fighter in some tough situations.
(40-30).
Once again, HALEP extends her lead.
Taking that ball out of the air
for
HALEP, that's going to be an important play for her as this match and as the tournament goes on for her.
Afternoon tea has been had for the Royal Box guest. I'm delighted that Jonathan Agnew is there with his wife Emma. Jonathan on the right, Emma on the left of your picture. He is the lead commentator of Test Match Special on Radio 4 and Radio 5 Live. That's for the cricket, Chanda. That's another sport.
You could tell I looked blank when you said that. Was I that obvious?
No, but you'll have many an enjoyable afternoon listening to Jonathan Agnew on Test Match Special. TMS. If you hear the words TMS,
I'll know then. I'll know what they're talking about.
We're going to have a coffee afterwards. Just to complete your cricketing education, we're doing very well at the moment as an England team.
I'm happy to hear that.
We've just trounced the Aussies. That makes everyone in this country super happy. Nice.
I did hear something about Aussie cricket, though. They had a little trouble with their team, a bit of sportsmanship.
Oh, you see,
I did hear a little bit.
You're more on it than you realise, Chanda. Got all the latest gizmos these days on centre court. A little net cap attached to the centre tape.
That's nicely done from HALEP. And I just think NARA, she has to keep trying to get in. I mean, she's down a set and a break. She's in good position in this service game. But it's her ability to be aggressive, to take a little ground away, that's going to give her the most chance to stay in this match.
Let's first service.
Well, you can never knock a try, and the centre court crowd really appreciating the efforts of the world number 100, but she's still down a break in this second set.
Miss HALEP leads 4-3, second set, and by 1 set to love.
Simona's the world number 1, obviously looking to add more slams. Where do you think she can? What more can she get out of her game?
I mean, I think that for HALEP, you know, she's certainly maximizing her strengths and the things that make her the player that she is. But mentally, we've seen her really get over a hump in terms of winning her first Grand Slam, first big tournament. And I think she can have more of those wins under her belt, but it's going to take that same type of mental effort, that never say quit attitude. So I think she can certainly continue to improve in that area. The serve for her has always been one of the weakest parts of her game. And I think she can play with a little stronger service game. Better direction on her serve makes things a little bit easier. I will say this, Sam, I think with HALEP, I mean, she has such tremendous fighting abilities. You know, the heart that she displays when she's all in, I mean, that certainly is worth at least another Grand Slam or two on its own. Sort of reminds me of a player like Arantxa Sanchez, Vicario, who, you know, she would certainly be a little more aggressive. She'd come in. She had a little more variety, I think, than HALEP, but similar fighting styles.
Well, you would know all about Arantxa. You won your Grand Slam doubles titles with her.
We did. We had some battles in singles as well. I appreciated her and didn't like her at the same time. Nicely done from NARA, stepping in, taking the ball on the rise. And that's the best opportunity for NARA to take time away from HALEP.
40-30.
She's having to try so hard, isn't she, just to win a single point out here. And then just the, anyway, inevitable letdown. That was a big point that she threw away.
Nara's trying to be a little bit more aggressive. She's, trying to add some weight to her game, and it's going to produce the occasional additional unforced error. And that's just adding insult to injury for Nara. Second ace of the match for HALEP.
Game, Miss HALEP.
In the end, HALEP prevails and is within sight of the second round.
Miss HALEP leads 5-3, second set.
This is really one of the more difficult challenges in tennis, is for a player who has a similar style to her opponent as Nara does, but just doesn't do it as well as HALEP. She's quick around the court. She stays down and through her shots. She's a fighter as well, but HALEP has the edge in just about every area.
Love 15.
I would say the one area where Nara can maybe be just a little bit better than HALEP is coming in and moving forward, but she hasn't done that enough, hasn't had enough opportunities.
There have been flashes, haven't there, from Nara? You can see why she was ranked outside the world's top 30 just a few years ago. But she really is your perennial top 100 player, working away.
That's so often the challenge, is when you are a player without a big weapon, where you can't finish points, you can't close out matches maybe on your own terms as consistently. You end up where Nara is, and that's struggling to win matches on the main tour. Just another point where Nara wasn't willing to take a little more risk to move in. She had a ball sort of in front of her in the middle of that point. And this is the time to throw it all out there when you're almost out of the tournament here. Getting just a little bit of help from HALEP, managing to keep herself in this game.
Battling on and hanging out here on this centre court. But it's HALEP who leads 5-4 second set and will serve for a place in the second round.
5-4 second sets, and by 1 set to love.
Chanda, we always do this, but just having a look at the draw, the top half of the draw, and obviously it's a long fortnight, you know that. Some big names in there. Just looking at Halep's potential opponents. Jo Konta is in her section. Ostapenko, Sharapova, Muguruza, Barty, Kontaveit, Kerber, all in the top half. Who do you think is the real danger woman for Halep?
I think somebody like Sharapova would pose one of the biggest problems, for Halep in terms of her ability to win points, to dictate, to hit winners. Muguruza certainly in that half pose a challenge if she's able to get through.
Really quite transformational from the young one, sort of broke through onto the tour in 2014. That was the year of her first Grand Slam final where she lost to Maria Sharapova and then made the semis here, losing to Jeannie Bouchard. But that man wasn't at the helm then.
Oh, 40-15.
Well, if it is to end here, Nara's lasted sort of 10 more minutes than she did when they played in the Californian desert all those years ago. 2 match points for the world number one. Welcome back to the centre court, Simona Halep. The French Open champion cruises through to the second round. Pochano, I have a feeling she'll be very pleased with her evening's work, and no sense of complacency after taking that first Grand Slam title. She looked ready to go despite not having played any grass court or any matches since winning in Paris.
It was a very comprehensive first round win for Halep, a match where she wasn't really troubled, but she had to work through some difficult moments, had to stay focused and disciplined throughout that match, which she was able to do. And the serve really worked well at some critical moments. She started really finding the range and the rhythm, serving a little bit bigger, getting a few free points. And for Nara, just didn't have quite enough game, although she gave it a good go in that second set. She fought, dug in, kept herself in that match, made it tough for Halep. But in the end, Halep just too confident from the ground and really from every area of the court.
Yes, they don't walk off together these days, which I always think is somewhat of a shame. But Halep stopping, and she's signed an awful lot of those this past month. She really is a Romanian superstar, and there's a lot of people wondering if she might do for tennis in this country what Nadia Comaneci did for gymnastics all those years ago.
That's very high praise. I mean, she was already a star. And now she is a superstar, having won her first Grand Slam title, #1 in the world for many weeks now, and will continue throughout this tournament as #1.
So a comprehensive victory there by Simona Halep, and she'll be relieved to get that one out the way. Bigger things ahead, but comprehensive against NARA. She wins 6-2, 6-4, and we can hear from her now. She's with Lee McKenzie.